says he's not going to have a wall except around the capital. He's not going to have a wall on the southern border. He's inviting all the illegal aliens in the world to come into the country, and he's vaccinating them across the border. They're welcome to come in. They're talking about shutting the border down between Florida and the rest of the country, but they're letting in illegal aliens who were criminals and are COVID positive. I wanted to talk to Ann Mendoza. I read a story about her this week. Ann Mendoza, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Thank you for having me, Howie. I appreciate it.
So what are your thoughts about what's going on with the Joe Biden destroying the border control that took so many years to put into place?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think enough thought has been put into it. It was a campaign promise that, he's trying to follow up on, but the ramifications that are going to happen to our country, while we are in the midst of a pandemic right now and so many Americans are out of work, this is going to be an overwhelming situation. The people in Texas have already been starting to complain because the new DHS director has directed Border Patrol to proceed with catch and release again. And so the people in McAllen, Texas were complaining last week because there were being a large amount of illegals being dropped off at the bus station. And mind you, these people have not been COVID tested because of the complaints of the citizens living in those border towns in Texas. They are starting to send COVID tests down now. If they are positive, they are being put up in a hotel in the Brownsville, McAllen area all along the border at the expense of American taxpayers. So we're paying for the hotel bills for these illegals to quarantine if they are positive. I had a huge report out of Guatemala and Mexico from a doctor who's actually traveling with the caravan who says they are so many COVID positive patients within this one large caravan of over 400 people that he's with, so many other diseases, some that he hasn't even heard of, people dying, and he doesn't know what the cause of their death is. So these are the types of people that Joe Biden wants coming into our country at a time when we have, them fighting for a $15 minimum wage, which these are the wages that these illegals will be taking away from the American people. And the other thing that is so important for Americans to know is, even during the pandemic last year, $508 billion were sent out of our economy to the countries of the illegals living here, to their home countries, to their families. And so this is going to be even more, this is going to be growing expeditiously through the next, however many years, because of the flood of more illegals coming into our country. So, the economy of the United States is at stake, the sovereignty of our country and the safety of our citizens, all wrapped up in open borders.
I mean, there's so many things I could ask you about, Ann Mendoza. Your son was killed by this illegal alien who was high on meth and alcohol. But I'll just ask you about the fact that they've announced that ICE is no longer to deport any convicted illegal alien drunk drivers, among many other crimes. But an illegal alien drunk driver killed your son. How does this make any sense whatsoever?
It doesn't, and that's kind of like the gateway crime that the majority of them commit to begin with. And when they're shown leniency, they know that they can do whatever they want in our country criminal-wise, and they will be shown protection in sanctuary cities, counties, and states. They know that they have the Democratic Party fighting for them. And, when was the last time that you saw any legislation come forward in Congress regarding the safety of American citizens and anything about angel families to allow us to sue the sanctuary policy makers and enforcers? All you see coming out of the Congress is positive legislation towards illegals in our country. Americans need to wake up. They're not fighting for us. They're fighting for these illegals. One
of my listeners was remarking earlier this week about Bruce Springsteen, the boss, being arrested for drunk driving, and said the quickest way for Bruce Springsteen to get off a multimillionaire private plane, it's a big prominent Democrat, would be to write a new song, "Not Born in the USA," because that way they couldn't prosecute him, right? They're prosecuting Bruce Springsteen, but they're not prosecuting an illegal alien who just swam across the Rio Grande yesterday. It's crazy.
Well, and I can't tell you how many crimes that are committed in this country. And what an American citizen, they have to serve 85% of their time, where an illegal who commits the same crime only has to serve 50% of their time. This is happening across the United States. I mean, our governor here in Arizona changed that a few years ago, but many states, that is all that is required. And so we've got a judicial system that is actually rewarding or favoring illegal criminals in our country. And the word gets spread around that, come here, you can do anything you want. You're not going to get punished. You're going to get protected. And actually, the elected officials that the American citizens have elected into office will fight for you illegals. They won't fight for their citizens. This is the messaging coming out of D.C.
And the Democrats sometimes try to say, Mary Ann, that, well, if they're convicted of a felony, they will be deported. But what happens is they go into court and their public defender, because they never pick up the tab for their own legal defense, just like they don't pick up the tab for anything else over here. The public defender says, Your Honor, if you convict this man of this poor illegal alien fentanyl dealer, drunk driver, machine gun wielding illegal of a felony, he'll be deported. So you have to plead it down to a misdemeanor. And it happens over and over and thousands, hundreds of thousands of times.
Especially with the DACA participants, because, they're allowed 3 misdemeanors, but if they have a felony charge, they're supposed to be kicked out of the DACA program and deported. But of course, that never happens. But yeah, that is the case a lot of time. Backroom deals going on all the time in favor of illegal criminals. Today is my son's 39th birthday. And today marks 5, almost 6 years that I've been without my son. I'm permanently separated from him. You have Joe Biden talking about the reunification of these 585 unaccompanied minors, left over from the Trump administration. 545 of those parents were contacted in their homeland and told the authorities that we don't want our children back. So 545 of those parents, because the pro-illegal attorneys here in the United States were advising them, leave your children here. We have a Biden administration coming in, and they will fix this for you. And so now Biden is creating a committee to reunify these children with their parents. We all know they don't want them back in their country, so the reunification will happen, guess where? Here in the United States. The parents will be welcome to come live here now.
Right. And according to Obama statistics, 3/4 of the people who come over from south of the border will end up on welfare of one form or another. 3/4 of the DACA recipients, who are supposedly the cream of the crop, are on welfare of one form or another. Let me read you a statistic. In fiscal year 2020, last year, ICE removed 186,000 illegal aliens, of whom 92% had criminal convictions or pending criminal charges. The most common offense was a DUI conviction or charge, totaling more than 55,000. So all these tens of thousands of drunk drivers, not to mention other kinds of criminals, are going to be allowed to remain in the country. Where are the mothers against drunk driving when it comes to these cases, Mary Ann Mendoza?
I wondered the same thing. And of course, in my fight, I have so many people arguing with me. This could have been an American citizen who killed your son. Don't make all these illegals out to be bad people. Yes, you're absolutely right. It could have been an American citizen. But this was a repeat illegal alien criminal who should have been deported from our country, but was shown leniency up in Colorado, given a slap on the wrist for not showing up to his court date, and basically said, have a nice life. Don't commit any crimes anymore. And he ultimately ended up here in Arizona killing my son. So, I'm looking at this impeachment fight right now and how the Democrats are fighting that, how somebody interprets somebody's words is important, right? So I put out, a message yesterday saying, if this is the case, then I want to hold all members of Congress who incite these illegals to come illegally to our country and fight with their sanctuary policies. I want to hold you accountable like you're trying to hold our president accountable, because after all, that's how I'm interpreting your words. And so this is how things should stand, right?
Now, you're in the you're in this office called the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement, VOICE, in the Department of Homeland Security that was set up in the Trump administration to provide a voice for the survivors and the victims of illegal alien crime. What's going to happen to VOICE in the Democrat administration of Joe Biden?
Well, it's probably going to be done away with, because what Voice really does and helps victims' families and victims who, have survived a crime committed against them, it enables them to keep track of that illegal, because we didn't have those means before. And a lot of times they would be transferred from this jail or this prison here, there, and they would be released and, just out into the general public again before being deported. And so this gives us the opportunity and the manpower with ICE to keep track of where they are and to fight that when their release date is coming up, the Voice helps us get them deported. And so this is going to be really a travesty that if that office is done away with. But nothing the Biden administration is doing makes sense. And so we're all just holding our breath, waiting for the time that they are going to dismantle that.
Apparently the only foreign aid they've ended since they took office was the foreign aid that was sent to the Central American countries to try to keep these people, these future illegals, in their own countries. But they had to end that immediately because they wanted to start the torrent back up coming into the United States.
Well, yeah, and the Biden administration has. I think it was DHS, they did away with the agreement that President Trump had with Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras to stop the flow of illegal immigration. And the Biden administration has gone ahead and ended those agreements immediately because they want a superhighway from Central America up here. And I know from my research that there are a lot of criminals from Cuba, from Ghana, that have come over to Panama. They're waiting to cross over, and all of these countries are offering them asylum. All of these countries are offering them jobs, and their response is, no, we want to go to the United States. That is their goal, because they know that it's
a free ride.
They're going to
it's a free ride.
For free. Yeah.
You get supported, and you could commit unlimited numbers of crimes, and nothing will happen to you. What could be better?
No, and you don't have to work for your money, right. And you can work tax-free for your money and send it home to your family. And, I had to translate out of this chat room that this guy was telling some people who were thinking about coming up here, saying, you can work here and you can file a tax return, but I claim 5 ghost children that I don't have. Ha, 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 ha. And I not only get all the taxes I paid back, but I also get child care credit that they pay me to be here to work. So, the argument that these people pay taxes and contribute to our, economy
society
is absolutely ridiculous.
Mary Ann Mendoza, we really appreciate you being with us. We'll have you on again as this travesty unfolds that's called the Biden administration. Thank you. And again, we issue our condolences once again for your terrible loss of your son, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann Mendoza. Everyone knows I love coffee and I'm not giving it up. I've been told to limit my intake to 3 cups a day and stop by noon, but that's not happening. I've always known the coffee might keep me up from time to time, but no longer with Balance 7. You ask, what is Balance 7? Balance 7 is a clear mineral liquid you take 3 times a day to break down the acids in your body. Now I feel better and I sleep better. Balance 7 also reduces acid reflux and heartburn. I'm often asked to try products, and I tend to be very skeptical of the claims they make, but with Balance 7, every positive thing I was told turned out to be true. I've been taking it for more than a week now. With Balance 7, I don't feel my energy starting to flag as the day wears on. By allowing me to sleep better at night, my mental clarity is sharper during the day. Balance 7 is a highly alkalizing concentrate. That means it reduces the acids that have built up in your body over time. All you do is drink a small shot of the liquid 3 times a day and you'll feel the difference. Balance 7 is made in America of safe, all-natural ingredients and is sold more than 6 million units worldwide. If you suffer from heartburn, acid reflux, or sleep issues, give Balance 7 a try. Order the 1-month supply and put in code word Howie. You'll save $10 and get free shipping. That's Balance 7, the number 7, endorsement.com, code word Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him Lakeford.
All right, Howie, I'm back.
Thanks.